What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Look at the Tape. I'm your host, Jordan, and today, first of all, we are back. It's been a minute since I recorded an episode, so that's on me. That's my bad. I've been just doing things, but I've seen some movies, and I've seen this movie today. Well, I didn't see it today. The movie that we're talking about today, I have seen, and I definitely have to talk about this movie right here. So before I announce what the movie is, well, you've seen the title of the episode, but before I verbally announce it, let me just put my little apologies out there, because I've been off, but we are back with another episode of Let's Look at the Tape. Now, some things might change with Let's Look at the Tape. I tried to put, episodes out every Friday, which I think, I started to change it to a Saturday, but, I still feel like I want to hold on to that Friday. So, yeah, I think that's really what I'm going to shoot for. But this one will not be coming out on a Friday. This will be a Sunday episode. If anything, if anything, this podcast will be a weekend podcast. If anything, there will be an episode at some point during the weekend. If I have to make that change, maybe I will. But for now, I'm gonna see what I can do about these Fridays. But this episode will be a Sunday episode. Right, and for past episodes, as of right now, I believe that they are no longer live except for one right now, except for the last episode. Excuse. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to get them back up. But as of right now, episodes are going to be up for a certain amount of time, and then they'll be gone off of like streaming. As far as YouTube goes, they'll be up. They're not going down from my YouTube. So if you want to hear old episodes, go to my YouTube. And yeah, I'm going to give the where you can find all my stuff at the end of every episode from now on. So that will be included later at the end. So that means you guys stick to the end if you want the information. So here we go. So yeah, so those are the updates for Let's Look at the Tape podcast as of right now. Old episodes will be down for the foreseeable future, and when and if I'm able to get them back up, I will let you all know. But like I said, YouTube, they're over there, and I have to. Oh gosh, yeah, I have to put some up that I thought were up on my YouTube, but they're not. But after. As I'm recording this now, they're not up, but I'm going to do that after I'm done shooting this episode. So by the time this episode is actually live and up, those other episodes should be also up in a playlist on my YouTube. So all that should be squared away. So yes, YouTube is the safest place, the most secure place. I shouldn't say secure like my thing has been hacked. It hasn't been hacked. It's just it's a different thing going on. But anyway, YouTube, they'll be there to stay. All that to say. So now back to business as usual. Today's episode is a movie, brand new movie, doing incredibly well at the box office. Obsession. Today we are looking at the movie Obsession. This was a good time, y'all. If you haven't yet seen Obsession, it's a good time, y'all. It's a good time. It's not like your average horror movie. It's not just a bunch of jump scares and all that. It's not like that. It's creepy. But it's not like that. It's not The Conjuring. It's not Insidious. It's not like that. It's not The Terrifier. It's not like that. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, and it's still a good time. I honestly might be better. But we're going to talk about that right now. So without further ado, let's look at the tape. All right. So here we are. 2026. Obsession. Hold on. Oh man, I just had it. Here we are. Directed by Curry Barker, who I am within the understanding is and or was, excuse me, here we go with the gas. Starting early. Is and or was a YouTuber, right? Making like short things on YouTube, and has now come out with his feature film. Did you guys hear that? So yes, Curry Barker has done a great job with this film. Him and the actors that were in it, everything was just a great job. This was crazy. This is crazy. Starring, and I'm gonna rattle this off as listed: Michael Johnston as Bear, Indy Navarrete, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Indy Navarrete as Nikki, Cooper Tomlinson as Ian, and Megan Lawless as Sarah. Okay, and those are all the people that that's all we're gonna worry about. There are, yes, other actors, but those are our star characters. Those are our big four in this movie. So first off, let's start. We gotta start with Indy. Oh, sorry, it's been a minute. Y'all know I forgot. Almost forgot. It's been a minute. Here we are. So if you're new to the show, up front is the Plain Cracker Review. Plain Cracker Review is where we do no spoilers. We just, we talk about the fluff of the movie, if you want to call it that. The fluff, the non-spoiler things, And then it's me and my spoiler fam. Those are that is the section only for people who have seen the movie. We talk about the spoilers. We get into it. There, okay? So if you haven't seen the movie, when I'm announcing the spoiler fam, that is your chance. I will give you the opportunity. Don't be up in my comments talking about, hey, why are you spoiling the movie? Because I gave you a chance. Leave me alone. So here we are with the Plain Cracker Review of Obsession, and I'm gonna start off with Miss Indy Navarrete. I don't think I've heard the proper pronunciation of her name yet, but Indy Navarrete. I knew her face from the CW Superman and Lois show. She played, I believe her character's name was Sarah in that show, and she was the friend / love interest of the character Jordan in that show. So that's where I know her from. When I saw her in the show, I was like, oh snap, that's her from Superman and Lois. What I did not know is that she was also in 13 Reasons Why. I do not remember her in 13 Reasons Why. Is this gonna make me go back and rewatch 13 Reasons Why to see her? No, it's not. I'm not going back and watching 13 Reasons Why. But I'm just saying interesting. I don't remember. I didn't realize that. But like I said, Superman and Lois for sure. So I was like, oh snap, yeah, let's go. She's in a movie, because I don't think she's been in a movie. I think she might have just been in shows. I mean, we got IMDb here. IMDb. Yeah, it literally has Obsession, Superman and Lois, and in Vertigo. What is that? Is in Vertigo a movie? It's a thriller. It's a drama. It's a thriller. I don't know. I'm not sure, but that is where I know her from. Superman and Lois. So I thought it was super cool. I was like, oh snap, here she is. Because, a relatively, lesser known actress, now in this incredibly successful movie. And she takes the cake of the movie. Like she's who you go to see. Like, oh snap, her performance is like, whoa. Like she did the thing. She did the thing up there. And I'm all out of whack on this episode because I'm supposed to start with the little synopsis or the short reading, the summary from IMDb. This is what happens when you take an extended break. But here we are. So here is the little synopsis. Well, it's really the summary because the synopsis is super long. So the summary for Obsession that IMDb has. So here it is. After breaking the mysterious one-wish willow, and that's in quotations, to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers that some desires come at a dark, sinister price. Now, with that being said, we've seen the trailer. Guy likes a girl. He doesn't have the courage to ask her out. He has this, it's like a little stick. It's called a one-wish willow. And it's exactly what is implied. Everyone gets one wish. You can't buy another one and make another one. No, you buy one, and that one is your one wish. He makes the wish, and then he breaks it off, and that, seals the contract of the wish, if that's how you want to put it, I guess. We're not even gonna go there. Never mind. I'm not into the wish thing. That's just it. But I don't do the wish thing. But as far as this movie goes, you break it, and then that seals the deal for whatever it is that you wish for. And yeah, like the synopsis or summary, whatever, says he gets exactly what he wants. So like, y'all know, y'all seen those, a movie with a genie. Not exactly Aladdin, because Aladdin was kind of fluffier. But even Genie in Aladdin told him, like, hey, whoa, hold on. Be specific. You want me to make you a prince, or like what? Like what? Be specific. Or if you watch The Fairly Odd Parents, the genie. Now, Cosmo and Wanda granting Timmy's wishes always backfired anyway. But the genie in that show, his wishes were worse. His wishes were way worse than everything that Cosmo and Wanda conjured up. So, the one wish willow is like, okay, what you said is what you'll get. So this guy specifically asks, I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone else in the whole world. And that's exactly what he gets. That's exactly what he gets. Now, the character's name is Bear, right? And again, this is all information that is fed to us through the trailer. So nothing spoiler here, still plain cracker review. This is a guy down bad for this young lady named Nikki. In him being down bad for Nikki, he asks, I wish she loved me more than anyone else in the world. That's a lot. Than anyone else that's a lot. That's a lot. That is a lot. I'm going to talk about this more in the spoiler fam, but just right here, that is a lot. I wish that she loved me more than anyone else in the world. That's a big can open. And he quickly found that out, along with the other things that go along with this one wish willow. But I've definitely got some things to say about this. Um, so, you know, where do we go from here? Let's go back to Miss Indy. Her performance, super creepy, but super charming at the same time, which made it more creepy. Super creepy. If I can say super charming, but it's mostly like creepy. I would say her before the wish is more of the charm, but then once the wish comes, it's like, okay, where did that come from, and what's that about, and why are you standing in my corner in the middle of the night? Why are you standing in the corner of my bedroom in the middle of the night? And a bunch of things just ensue with this character after this wish, and like I said, her performance, the way that she moves at certain points is like, I can't tell if that's just through extensive like rehearsal or if this has been edited in any sort of way. All I know is that is super unnerving, very unsettling. Because how did you? That's not normal. That's not normal. Like, yeah, again, like I said, her performance is what you go to see the movie for. Like, she did her big one. Uh, so also again, a lesser known actress. Um, this will definitely, you know, she's definitely gonna have the eyes on her now, for sure, for sure, for sure. Like some of us know her from these other things. Like for those of you who do remember her from 13 Reasons Why, or those of you like me who remember her from Superman and Lois, or the I can't remember the name of that other project I mentioned earlier, but anything else that you have seen her in that other people will be like, oh no, I don't think I've recognized her from that. After this, oh, people are going to be talking about her. Well, they already are. So, I think you should expect to see her in more, for sure. Like soon. Also, before she did this, she was a streamer, a gaming streamer, and she still has a streaming channel. I believe she actually just made a new one. I believe it is. So look her up. YouTube, just her name. Last time I saw, she had 2 videos up. This is just the information. This is just the information I have. Like this is what she does. This is what she's been doing. But expect to see her more after this movie. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Now, as far as our Mr. Bear, our character Bear, our guy Bear, this story really, she is also a main character. But first, this is Bear's story because this is Bear's crush. This is Bear's wish, you know. But as we're seeing, and I'm gonna save more of this for the spoiler fam. But if you've seen anything about this movie, you've probably heard by now, like, oh, Bear is actually the bad guy of this movie because of this wish. Because again, that's a lot more than anyone in the world. That's crazy. But if you haven't seen the movie, even with an understanding of how crazy that wish is, if you haven't seen the movie, then you may not know why people are saying that he's the bad guy. Well, we're gonna put a pin in that for my spoiler fam, and the rest of you just need to hurry up and get to the theater and make it here with us. But what else can I say for Plane Cracker Review? I still struggle a little bit with the Plane Cracker Review, y'all. because there's just so much I want to say, but it's reserved for spoiler fam. I'm ready to just deep dive into it, but let me have this moment to think if there's anything else I can give with the plain cracker. I don't know. I don't know. I think we might just have to. I think we might just have to go get into it. I think we might just have to go there. Yeah, the biggest thing to say about this movie is Indy Navarrette's performance. We know what the movie's about. That wish is crazy, and that's what I'm about to just jump right into, along with some other things. Yeah, yeah. I think that's about it for me, as far as I'm concerned. Get yourself into the theater if you haven't seen it, because I am entering the table with my spoiler fam now. This is spoiler fam talk. If you haven't seen the movie, pause now. Stop this now. Go see it. Come back, so you can also be a part of the spoiler fam for this episode. I'm giving you a chance. This is it. All right, you still here? If you're still here, that means you've seen the movie. All right, we family. All right, y'all, spoiler fam, let's go. Let's talk about this wish. First of all, let's get to the part. All right, let's start. Let's get to the actual wish, because this is the weight of the movie right here. This is the weight. This is the weight. Not WAIT. No, WEIGHT. This is the weight of the movie. It's just the wish that he made. Let's think about what happens here. Let's go back first to the beginning of the movie. And he's talking to his, and I'm putting huge air quotes, his homie. Yo, he bothered me. That character, Ian bothered me. And y'all know why. Y'all should know why. I'm going to talk about it though. Hold on. It opens up. Bear is pretty much doing like this rehearsal of telling Nikki that he has a crush on her and him asking her out or whatever. And it's super deep and cheesy and corny. And he's doing it, you know, with the waitress that works at this little diner. You know, Ian's telling me, yo, let's the girl, the waitress, she's like, oh, that was so sweet. You know. And Ian's over here like, you can't say that. You can't say that crap. Can't say that crap. Cause you know, what's his name? Bear, you know, he's laying it on thick, like, you know, I don't feel like this with anybody else except with you. Like you bring it out of me. Like I could tell you anything. Like I'm just, no, he's late. He just giving it all. He's wearing it all on his sleeve. He's wearing it all on his sleeve. Like I don't feel the way I feel when I'm with you, and you know, all of that just on his sleeve. He just putting it all out on the table. And his boy, quote unquote, air quotes, quote on his boy. You can't say that. No, what you gotta do, you gotta flirt with her a little bit. You gotta call her Freaky Nikki. I can't call her Freaky Nikki. Nah, you gotta call her Freaky Nikki. You gotta call her Freaky Nikki. That's what you gotta do. All right, that's that, right? Let's cut to was it that night? It was that night. Side note. And we're going to talk about this cat too. The cat, you know, I wasn't expecting that. But it could. Now, we probably all heard the theory about the cat, you know. Because why else, if I really think about it, why else does the cat need to die? For the sake of the movie. Why does the cat have to die on this specific night? Because this is the same night that he takes her home and makes the wish. So let's start. Let's put the cat in a pen, Okay? Let's put a pin in that. And some of y'all already heard that theory. Y'all know what I'm talking about already. But let's put a pin in there. Let's just go to the wish now. Now that we've talked about the very beginning, the opening of the film, let's cut to the car and the wish. Him dropping her off. Let's start right there. Him dropping her off. Okay? They're having this conversation in the car. They're talking, you know. The movie makes it very clear that they have, you know, a relationship where they could just talk about anything. Everything's they can say anything to each other. They could just talk. All right. So, and they're just talking. He gets to her house, drops her off. You know, he's trying to build the courage to just say it, to just ask her out. And as she's walking away, he's like, wait. And she comes back, she's like, what's up? And he just can't. He says something else. I can't remember what he said. He just says he just can't do it. And as she's walking away, he calls her Freaky Nikki, which upsets her. And she's like, why would you call me that? You know I don't like that. Why would you call me that? And then he just shuts down and then proceeds to make this wish. I wish he loved me more than anyone else in the world. And now she's obsessed, as the title of the film, you know, suggests. So here's the thing. Because this could have went a whole different way. The first way, okay, I'm going to give an A and B, what I think would be an A and a B to what happened here. A would have been Bear, shoot your shot. Bear, just shoot your shot, man. If y'all have this if y'all really have this type, I understand what was happening. He couldn't get it together. But just do it. Just do it. Because they made it clear, like, he's been wanting to do this for a long time. And it's just, all right, man. Eventually, you're just going to do it. So just do it. So just shoot your shot, man. Just put it all out. Like you were doing at the diner, just don't do as much. Don't do all of that. You don't got to lay it on as thick. But the truth of what you were saying, like, hey, you know, yeah, I got feelings for you. I don't feel this way with anybody else. You know, what you were saying was not wrong. Just don't lay it on as thick. Probably, maybe. But something along those lines of what you were actually saying, just shoot your shot. Now let's jump to who said it. Someone says, someone does expose the information that that Nikki was talking to Sarah, because they all work together. Nikki was talking to Sarah and saying that she sees Bear just, you know, like a brother. So in other words, Bear was unaware of this information when it was said, but in other words, behind the scenes, Nikki has already friend-zoned Bear. Pretty much. So, again, Bear, just shoot your shot, dog. Just do it. Even if she says no, I don't, you know, think of you that way. I like our relationship the way it is. I think we should just be friends. The worst she's gonna say is no. And then you'll know. And even if you want it to be like, okay, yeah, I feel that, but But da 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 da. Even if you wanted to be like, but I hear you, but what about what could be? If you really just wanted to throw that extra shot in there, just to just to put it in the ring, like what about what could be? Like I don't. There's so many other ways that this. I'm just trying to say there's so many other ways that this could have went before this terrible wish was made. Shoot your shot. Tell her the truth about how you feel. You make me feel. However he put it, I can't remember the exact words, but it was along those lines, like the way you make me feel. I don't feel like this with nobody else. Okay, you could say something like that, if you want. Even if she says no. And if she friend zones you to your face. I'm not laughing at Bear. I'm just saying because we know how this went down with the wish. But even if she says no. And if you want to throw that extra one in the ring, what about what could be? What if we just tried it? Just went on one date? Because the way that we get along, the way that we connect, I think that there's something there. What if we went on one date? Just give me one date. Ignore the chair squeaking. One date and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work for you, fine, then we know. But what about what could be? What if it does work? And what if it's great? Something. Okay, but what actually happens? Okay, so that's my A. My A is shoot your shot. And I don't want to say double down, but just put it all out in the ring. On the table. Put it all out. Just put it all out. If you had, what did he say? That me and Nikki, we could talk about anything. If that's the truth, then you can say this. If you can put everything else out on the table, put this out on the table. Just do it. I know. But shoot it. That's my A. My B is what actually happened was when he called her Freaky Nikki, and she's like, back at the car. Why would you call me that? I don't like that. And then she goes, Bear, do you like me? Because if you do, now's the time to say. Now, she's upset. She is upset. Obviously, she's upset. If you like me, now's the time to say. Well, Bear, that would have been the time to say. And you know what you should have said, Bear? You know what? You're right. First of all, you should apologize. Because, Bear, you did know that she didn't like that. You knew that was the wrong thing to do. You told your quote-unquote boy that I'm not doing that. But then you did it because you panicked. But first thing, apologize. You're like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I know you don't like that. I shouldn't have said that. That's my bad. That's on me. Truth is, blah, 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 blah. So my B ends up being my A. First of all, not a pivot, but apologize for the Freaky Nikki thing. And then again, you just go back to A. B goes back to A. The truth is, I said that because, whatever. I panicked. I got nervous. I did that because I like you. And I have for some time. And, like I said, just give me one day. If she says no. Like I said, because put it in the ring. Put it in the ring. Just put it in the ring. I'm not saying, don't, Um, what's the word I want to use? Don't harass her in the moment about it. But I'm just saying, just lay it on the table. Just put it on the table. Just put it on the table. If she says no, or like, well, Bear, I like, being friends. I'm okay. What about what could be? If you want to do this for this long, Bear, make the moment count. Because this is your night, and this is the night where you really messed up. This is the night where you really messed up. This could have went so many other ways, but you had to break that stick. Shoot your shot, dog. One date. See how it could go. If it don't work like you say, like you already think it's not gonna work, all right. Now we know. But if it does, this could be a great thing. But none of that happens. None of that actually happens. He makes this wish. And what do I want to talk about first? Do I want to talk about, let's see. Yeah, let's go here. Let's talk about this first. Let's talk about his quote unquote boy, Ian. I didn't like this guy at all in this movie. This is your friend, Bear. Bear. You should have dropped him as a friend a long time ago. Cause come to find out, how do I put this? Cause y'all know, this is what messed me up in the theater. I was like, hey, ain't no way. Come to find out that he had, who told him? Sarah told him, told Bear, towards the end of the film, maybe like the end of the second act of this film. Sarah told him that Ian and Nikki had been casually hooking up. Casually, on and off, hooking up. And that's your boy? You've been telling him for a minute that you like Nikki. And he been listening to you, talk about how you like Nikki and you just want to go out with Nikki, and you got this burning passion for Nikki. Meanwhile, he been behind your back, and every once in a while, he been all up in Nikki. And he just been sitting back listening to you, saying like, dang, man, I just don't know. I just don't know what to do. I just don't know how to say it. Well, he did, apparently. Just all up in Nikki. And you over here talking about some, oh, Nikki. And he like, Nikki. I just couldn't when I found this information out. I said, you got to be kidding me. Oh, now we know how this ends. Bear dies in the end. But I'm just saying, if I was Bear, and if I had made it out of this situation alive, if everybody had made it out of this situation alive, because Ian died too. But if everyone would have made it out alive, I would have dropped Ian so fast. We are no longer cool. That's crazy. That's wild. So there could have been that, going on. I've heard that speculation that Nikki probably maybe wouldn't have gone out But no, 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 no. That's what uh, some of what I theorized, that Nikki probably wouldn't have gone out with Bear because she knows that she's been hooking up with his so-called quote unquote best friend. So she would have that, I don't know, in the back of her mind. I don't want to call it guilt because it's all one friend group, but that's your boy. So I've been hooking up with your boy and you don't even know. It's not like this was open information in the group. No, I've, just been hooking up with your boy. Because here's what it is. Here's what I heard that I didn't uh, theorize. That Nikki probably did know that Bear liked her, but just never, probably didn't think too deep into it or just never asked until that night. But if that is true, then that would, go further into the, oh man, yeah, I kind of knew that you liked me. So if we did go out, that would be kind of weird because I know that I've been hooking up with your boy, and I've also known that you've liked me, but even though I knew that you liked me, I've just been hooking up with your guy. And that's a couple. I mean, a conversation that a couple could also have. Like, hey, listen, just want you to know, serious talk, real quick. You know, because Bear didn't know that until later on in the film. So, you know, even if this ever did come up in a discussion between the two of them, it's like, so you never knew this. And again, this is all within the theory that she did know that Bear liked her. This is within the theory that she knows that Bear likes her, okay? That she always kind of knew. That's what this is. This is that theory. If she low key knows that Bear likes her, and she still hooks up with Ian, Bear is unbeknownst to that information. So if Nikki and Bear did end up going out, that's gonna be maybe a little awkward in the back of her mind, maybe. So like I was about to say, this something that could come up in a conversation, like, hey, listen, so that you know, I gotta tell you, me and Ian used to, it didn't mean anything. It was just casual, and it just happened every once in a while. It, just thought you should know. And Bear in this movie, he probably would have just let it go. Who Bear was in this movie, he probably just let it go. Like, he definitely would have been shocked. He might have even, brought it up to Ian. But he probably would have let it go. Given all the other things that he let go in this movie, like the cat, the shrine of the cat, the sandwich of the cat. Even though he knows something is wrong because of this wish. So he knows he's the culprit of why she's doing these crazy things. But still, it honestly is kind of like, well, what am I going to do? I done made this wish and I can't reverse it. Because when she made the shrine for the cat, that was before, he made that phone call to the company or whatever it was of the One Wish Willow. So the first incident with the dead cat, the shrine, is like, he didn't know anything. He just knows that the wish worked. Quote unquote worked. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. Quote unquote worked. And what is he? He lets it go. Like, no, this isn't cool. Clean this up. He lets it go. So if he let that go, I'm sure her having told him, yeah, me and Ian used to, casually on the side, I'm sure he would have let that go too. Like I say, he would have said something, because he did say something about the cat shrine. He would have said something, but he would have let it go. Now, let's take the pen out. So let's talk about this cat and also the wish. Where do I want to start? I'll just start with the wish part. We'll keep the cat pinned for now. But, so, it doesn't all happen at once, but it gradually just gets worse and worse and worse. Remember when I said, like, the way that she was moving and stuff? Y'all remember towards the end when she was, like, backing up away from him? Because we can clearly see that something is off about her. It's not like she's just into him. There is something off about her. And she starts acting weird. And I've heard some theories. I've heard some things. She starts acting weird. But one thing is for certain, that is not Nikki. And she clearly says that throughout the movie. This is not me. It's not me. Multiple times. One blatant time. Let's run this down, okay? Here's where the theory goes that I've heard. It's mirrors. Whenever Nikki sees a reflection of herself in the mirror, the real her snaps back too, but then is taken over by whatever this thing is that is possessing her to fake love Bear. And that's going to tie into the other theory about the cat, which I'm sure a lot of you have also heard. Don't worry, I'm going to get there. Just know I've heard it too, and I don't know, but maybe it's plausible. It's probable. But we'll hold on. So yeah, there's that. If there's a mirror, because as soon as Bear makes the wish and she shows up back at the car, when she looks at the rear view mirror, she sees her reflection and she snaps back too, and she's like, what? She's like, wait, what? Like, what is going on? And then the thing takes back control again. Later, I don't know what was there a mirror by his bed or something? Later, we know that same night he takes her back to his place, and it's getting hot in the room. She's on top of him. But I guess, I don't know, I have to watch it again, but there's another moment where she snaps too, and she's like, yo, what the F? Because they're all making out. She's like, yo, what the F? And it immediately pulls back off of him. He's like, well, what happened? What happened? And she's like, and then the thing snaps back in control over her again. And now she's like, well, what? Oh, no, I'm sorry. So clearly something is off about that straight from the beginning. We come to find out later, specifically in that scene. Well, there's two scenes specifically. The scene where Bear is about to sneak out and go talk with Sarah in the park, in the car. But before he goes, Nikki's in the bed and she's talking very quietly, and she's like, Bear, it's not me. And then he says something. He's like, no, 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 be quiet. Don't wake her up. Or don't wake it up. It's not me, Bear. She's like, please kill me. She's like, please kill me. And she just take me out of my misery, please. Please. Can we also, hold on. Yeah. Hold that real quick. Remember when he makes the call? This is where I knew that this was a horror movie. This is where I knew this was a horror movie. When he makes the call to customer service of the One Wish Willow, and the operator's like, oh, do you want to talk to Nikki? And it's just her in screaming in agonizing pain. That's what it sounds like. She is just wailing. Help. She doesn't say help, but that's all it feels like is help. Help. That's what it feels like. She's just at the top of her. I'm like, yo, is she? Whoa, what happened to Nikki? And it freaks him out and he hangs up the phone. Now let's go back to where she has temporary control of her own body. And she's like, please just kill me. Just end this for me. And he goes, well, what would be so wrong about being with me anyway? And her answer is, Bear, I've never been with you. She's saying, I've never been with you. It's not me. This thing that has been with you all this time is not me. I've just been in the background. So someone has also said, yeah, she's just in the background witnessing everything that's going on. She just has no control over her own body. She's witnessing it as it's happening, but she has no control. She has no say. She just has little brief spurts or moments of, coming back to control or reality or however you would like to put it. And then the other time was when they're at the party. Ian, this dirtbag. He's a dirtbag throughout most of the movie. Also, probably because he knows that he's been hooking up with Nikki. And, he's not going to tell his so-called, quote unquote, his so-called friend, who he calls a friend, I guess. He's not going to tell Bear, oh yeah, I've been hooking up with your crush on and on. I mean, on and off, and I've just been listening to you cry about how much you like her. I've been banging her down, banging her out. I couldn't with this character. I couldn't. Sorry for making it sound so bad, banging her out. It's crazy, but that is also why Ian was probably tripping throughout the whole movie. And he's the main one talking about, hey man, I'm just saying it's a little weird how, at first Nikki was one way and now she's all over you. I'm just saying it's kind of weird. Well, I guess it is kind of weird to you that, the girl that I told you I've had a crush on and who I took home that night, just me and her. And then after that, even though it's because of a wish, but Ian doesn't know that. I guess it is kind of weird to you that, we're a couple all of a sudden because you've been going behind my back and sleeping with her anyway. So now you have to revoke your, chances of getting another hookup because she's my girl now. I did not like Ian at all. At all. At all. At all. But where was I at? Where was I in the wish? Yeah, at the party. What did she say? I don't remember what she said. There's a moment, and she does that little poem. And that poem is another thing I saw is that poem was the real Nikki, reaching out through the poem, through the background. She's reaching out through the poem, And when she hits herself in the head with the bottle, that's also the real Nikki. You know, she wants out of this. The creepiest part isn't even when she's standing in the corner in the middle of the night. And she's just, I just like watching you. Or whatever she said. Because there's no mirrors in the corner. Which makes that theory, seem plausible also. There's no mirrors in the corner. There's no mirrors facing the corner, so she's just chilling in the corner. Because whatever it is that's possessing Nikki doesn't want Nikki to have any control. Whatever that thing is wants to stay in control. So that's not the creepiest part to me. The creepiest part to me is also not when Bear goes to work and Nikki just, is standing in the middle of the living room and she pees on the carpet because she won't move. She stays right there and she just pees herself on the carpet. And then when Bear gets home, it's not just pee anymore, it's also fecal. And she's got just whatever that was on her chin. I'm guessing it was vomit or something, I guess. But she was in a totally different state when he came home than when he left her. When he left her, she was clean. When he came home, she was covered in mess. And also the creepiest part is not that she duct taped the door shut. Where did you even get that much duct tape? No, the creepiest part to me is towards the end when the obsession is towards its highest of the film. And it's almost like a little fight between Nikki and this false version of Nikki. And Bear is realizing this and he's coming to the reality of this. He's already been in the realization of this, but he's got to swallow it now. And he goes, this isn't real. The operator told me it was real, that the wish was real, but this isn't real. This isn't, you don't love me. This isn't, whatever you are, you're not Nikki. This isn't real. This is what I wanted, but it's not what I wanted. He's at that point in the movie. This is what I wanted, but this isn't what I wanted. This isn't real. And he says that. He said, this isn't real, verbally. And the thing freaks out. And then Nikki kind of gets control for a second. And it's like she kind of lunges at him like she wants to do something to him. Because it's like, you've put me through this with this wish. You're putting me through this. Instead of just asking her out, just shooting your shot, even if she says no, just give her the option. Because this, like you said, this isn't real. If you'd have just gave her the option, even if she said no, and like I said, just put everything out on the table. What about one date? And if she still would have said no, then okay. You know how she feels. And maybe you would have got your one day, and maybe it would have worked, and maybe you two, may have had a healthy relationship for real. But that wish, that thing is not Nikki. That is not real. So yeah, the real Nikki is mad. And she kind of does like jolt at him a little bit. But then false Nikki, or freaky Nikki, the freaky Nikki, as the internet is calling her, the possessed version of her, freaky Nikki, the real Nikki comes out for a second. Freaky Nikki takes back control. And when she does that back step into the dining room, y'all remember that? When she does that back step And it's like her body kind of like makes like contortionist movements. And she's like doing a back step into the dining room. And the creepiest parts are like, you can't see her like facial features anymore. You can see her body, but you can't see her facial features anymore. It's like it's in a shadow. But you can hear her talking. And then she goes, "Oh, don't worry, baby. I would never do anything to hurt you. It's okay." That's freaky. So here we are. Here's the theory about the cat. Here we are. I know I've kept y'all waiting. Here it is. The theory about the cat is it's the spirit of the cat that is possessing Nikki. So this is not my theory. I have to make that clear. This is not my own self-thought theory. This is just what I've heard, but I think it's interesting. The cat, our pets love us more than anything else in the world because we're all that they know. So the theory goes, and if you haven't heard this before, here it is. For those of you who have, just follow the theory again. When the spirit of the cat died, it was around, I guess. And when he made the wish, it just took over Nikki. So since the cat already loves Bear more than anything in the world, because that's just what pets do, that possessed Nikki, and it just, manifested into whatever the heck this wish is. It's a weird theory, but like, it's an interesting one. Mind you, it's a movie. But the cat thing, like, cats do bring you dead stuff. This is also part of the theory. I just had to... Sorry, I had to take a second. Cats bring you dead stuff. Nikki kept bringing out this dead cat. I think I just... they didn't say this in the theory, but I just kind of thought about this. What if it kept bringing up the dead cat to be like, hey, that's me. Like, it's me. What if the cat... So, let's say the theory is true, and let's say the cat is what's possessing Nikki. So, and she keeps bringing, the body of the dead cat. But what if that's the cat trying to be like, it's me? Like, I keep bringing you the cat, and I'm, put the cat in your sandwich, but I'm trying to tell it's me. That's crazy. That's my theory. That's crazy. What if that's the cat trying to show Bear, hey, it's me? But because of the wish, now it's just blown out of proportions. That's crazy. Bear, so many things you could have done, even if you were going to do this wish. And mind you, the right thing that I think he should have done was just to ask her out and to respect her choice. I still think he could have done the one date thing. Just to throw everything out on the table. Just don't leave anything behind. If we're already here, ask her out. Bear, I don't look at you like that. Okay, I understand, but what about? Do you think we give it a try? If it doesn't work, we know life goes on. But ultimately, respect her choice. You didn't give her a choice, sir. You made a wish that possessed her into fake loving you. But if he was gonna do this wish, you definitely made it wrong. You could have. These are other things that I've heard people say that he could have said. Could have said, "I wish I was Nikki's type. I wish that Nikki was into me." That probably could have went wrong too, but it's way better than anyone in the world. Somebody said, if you wish that they love you more than anyone in the world, that also means they love you more than themselves. I've heard a lot pertaining to this movie. That's why I knew I needed to do this episode. I was actually very excited to do this episode. I just knew I needed to do it, so I had to do it. Because there's so much. Because this movie is a banger. But yeah, if he was really gonna go the wish route, mind you, he didn't know the wish was gonna work. He was just doing a thing. It's like, what is that? What's that? The turkey bone thing. Excuse me. Turkey bone thing. It's like nothing's gonna happen. People just do that. So he's just like, yeah, I'm just doing this. And it's just out of like, man, dang, why can't I just do it? And then he just does that, and then it just happened to work. But yeah, there's so many other things that he could have said. I wish that Nikki liked me. I wish that Nikki had a crush on me. Something. I wish that Nikki wanted to be in a relationship with me. Something else. In a romantic relationship with me. Something else. Something that would have been better than I wish he loved me more than anyone else in the world. I'm not saying do the wish. I'm just saying if that's what you were gonna do, you could have done it better. Like I said, I'm not into wishes. But last thing, I'm gonna talk about the funniest part of this movie to me. I actually laughed just because of the way it was shot. When he goes to Ian's house, when he's at his most desperate, he's like, I don't care about any. This is after she has killed Sarah. She's murderous now. She is literally crazy about him. And he buys another One Wish Willow. And he goes to Ian's house. And he's explaining to Ian, this is what's happening. This is why she's in love with me. It's because of this. And of course, Ian isn't gonna, buy that. I wouldn't buy it either. And he's like, listen, I don't care about anything. You can have Nikki. You can have all the sex that you want to have with. I don't care. I want this to be over. At this point, he doesn't even have a crush on Nikki anymore. I want this to be done. He gives him the thing, the willow. And Ian's still, not, believing it. So he's like, yeah, sure, right. What does he do? He takes it. Bear's trying to explain to him how it works. Ian has it. He takes it. He's just like, man, yeah, right. I wish for $1 billion. Breaks it. And as soon as he does that, the camera is stuck on Ian. But all you hear in the background is Bear screaming and just, what's the word I want to use? Because he just lost his mind screaming. He's just, no. I wish for $1 billion. Snap, no. And then $1 billion just proceeds to fall out of the sky from the ceiling. But when Bear screamed no in the background, just the way that that was shot, that was hilarious to me. Because that was his last resort. He was desperate, and it's just, no. It was hilarious to me, Jordan. To me, Jordan, it was funny. Anyway, it's a very tragic ending, too. He goes back to the house. Nikki is there. She is covered in, the aesthetic that Sarah, dressed herself as. Because this thing realizes that, Bear's actually. Oh, sorry, guys. That Bear, is starting to have a little crush on Sarah. So it killed Sarah. So now it's dressing like Sarah dressed. And then Ian comes over and she just has a gun and she shoots Ian directly in the head, square in the forehead. He goes over there like, hey man, this is really where I got $1 billion. Blow. Not no more. So Bear goes to the bathroom. He's about to purposefully OD on those pills that the cat got into, which is what killed the cat. So yeah, he takes them. Well, first he's gonna shoot himself, but he doesn't decide to do it that way because he's trying to end the wish. The wish lasts as long as you live. So he's trying to self-delete. I said self-delete, but I think I already said the other thing. He's trying to self-delete. That's what I was thinking about for a second. Like, did I say it already? I was trying to avoid that. But he's trying to self-delete. I might have to bleep that out. He's trying to self-delete to end the wish. But he doesn't do it with the gun. So instead, he takes the pills. But at that point, Freaky Nikki has figured out what he's doing in the bathroom. And she uses another one wish willow that he bought. I guess he bought multiple so that he could have contingencies. She uses a one wish willow to make a wish. She makes probably the same wish that Bear was obsessed with her, or that he loved her more than anyone else in the world. So now he's exhibiting the same, behavior. He walks out the bathroom and he's just head over heels for her, just as much as she is for him. But it's too late because now the pills have taken effect, and he starts to shut down, and then he's gone, which then ends the wish. So now Nikki, the real Nikki, comes back too, and she sees all of the destruction just around her. She's Ian's body over there, Bear's body on me, all this blood, everything just in shambles. And that's how the movie ends, with her just bawling her eyes out. What has happened? What if I just went through? What is this? What was she about to? She was about to go to school because she just wanted a fresh start in the beginning of the movie. Well, she's definitely gonna want a fresh start after this, given if she can explain all of this to the police. But yeah, it's a very tragic ending. But it's a very good watch. This has been a blast. I missed this. Missed you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You can, and like I said, I'm gonna put the social. So I'm only gonna give one social because through this one you can find everything. Okay, my link tree is on my Instagram. So my IG is Jordan_E.B. 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 From there, you can see my link tree and you can find all my other stuff. Okay? YouTube, TikTok, music, everything is there. So, yes, this has been another episode of Let's Look at the Tape. Thank you for listening. Peace out.